Alright everyone, I'm going to be giving my quick opinions here on the Bantam Tools CNC Take 3D Printing to the Next Level video. Now, my only disclaimers in this video are, I don't own this machine. I would love to own or try out this machine, I'm not going to lie. And I also work as a CNC machinist at my day job running a Haas VF4SS, and I've been doing machining both professionally and as a hobby for years, actually longer than I've been doing 3D printing. So this is just my observations on this, but I feel like it's worth doing because this definitely kind of sparked off a firestorm in the 3D printing community. And in my personal opinion, I think everybody's being a little bit critical, and I have my theories as to why. Is because the company is run, or I believe owned by, Bree, formerly from MakerBot, and I'm not going to get into the whole thing other than in the past there was a lot of bad blood between the 3D printing community and Bree over what happened with MakerBot, so I let bygones be bygones. You know, that's the past, but I think that's part of the reason why people are a little bit salty about it. I don't think that's fair, but I'm just going to objectively look at the video for what it is, regardless of the past stuff. So there's a disclaimer. Let's dive into it.
3D printing is how I got started. Holding something plastic in my hands I had printed was nice, and don't get me wrong, printing Baby Yoda's fun and all, and there certainly is a place for plastic prototypes.
Okay, the guy has a fair point. I think he's kind of, making a slightly snide comment with the whole Baby Yoda's thing, but that is quite honestly a legitimate representation of what people think 3D printers do. And that's part of the reason why I've done so much 3D printing with model trains and tried to do some practical printing and whatnot, both on the channel and off the channel, is mostly just to show, hey, you know what? These are a lot more versatile than just printing up little trinkets, but it's fun to print that. I've machined little Turner's cubes and things like that just for fun, and puzzles and things like that, mostly just because, heck, I could do it. But at the same time, to each their own, as they say. But let's continue.
However, I'm taking it to the next level with my Bantam Tools desktop CNC milling machine. I now have a new superpower.
He has a point there. When you know how to machine things, you really can take your prototyping to 11. A really interesting hybrid application I saw actually of machining and 3D printing was at a Selway open house. Selway is a large manufacturing distributor. They've gotten into 3D printing as well. They actually had a machine cutting air, but it was showing an HP multi-jet fusion print being machined as if it was a casting, so you could create, dimensionally accurate surfaces and bores and threads, but then the rest of it was just the raw print, which was just there for structural reasons. And I'm like, that's actually really clever. And there's also applications where people will take a metal 3D print and do final machining and, post-processing on it to get the critical dimensions required. But yeah, there's definitely a hybrid between the two, and we can touch on that in another video, but he definitely has a point. It is a legitimate step up in manufacturing capabilities to be able to machine things. So, just saying.
I make fully functional aluminum prototypes.
Yes, you can make lots of functional parts in aluminum. 95% of what I machine in my day job is aluminum parts, and then the other 5% is plastic when it's required. But I'm just going to say there's lots of applications where you can use aluminum that you can't and probably shouldn't use plastics. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for saying that, but I'm serious. Just trust me on that.
My new aluminum parts will hold up under stress.
Yep. Not saying 3D prints can't do it, but there's definitely applications where you need the strength and rigidity of aluminum versus the flexibility, relatively speaking, of plastics.
And pass certification.
Yep, that too. Not saying a 3D print can't do that, but like I said before, there's a lot of things where you need metal.
And my new aluminum parts won't be catching on fire.
Okay, I think they're being a little tongue-in-cheek there. A little bit like the Baby Yoda comment, but the guy has a point. Plastic will burn. plastic burns quite well. And I'm definitely not saying that, other materials like titanium or magnesium or zirconium or things like that can't catch on fire. It does happen. If you had fine enough aluminum dust and you gave it enough heat, yes, it could catch on fire. But realistically speaking, the odds of that are actually pretty darn slim. I think they're being a little tongue-in-cheek there. I'm not saying that fires can't happen in a CNC machine. They can. I used to work for a short time at a screw machine shop that was notorious for having titanium fires in their machines. Thankfully, it never happened in the very short time that I worked there. But it does happen, but let's just say you kind of have to be doing a lot of things wrong to make it happen. It's not like you stare at the part wrong and it goes, bush, and that's that. But, I digress.
The Bantam Tools desktop CNC milling machine gives me the professional reliability and precision I need to make durable aluminum parts.
Now, I don't know necessarily what kind of tolerances this machine can hold, but I would think it could easily probably hold 5,000ths of an inch or better. And for most applications, that's more than good enough. Sure, there are applications where you need a lot tighter tolerances, but generally speaking, tolerances on most parts are relatively speaking pretty loose, which is handy.
I'm not playing around anymore. I solve real-world engineering challenges.
Okay, I know some people are going to argue, I can 3D print parts that help solve real-world engineering challenges, and I've done that too. But I think he's trying to drive the point home, though, that 3D printing is not the end-all, be-all, do-all, fix-all that people have made it out to be. And I think it's fair that he is kind of calling that out, because I get a little sick and tired of people thinking that, oh, I can just 3D print anything. And I'm like, yeah, you can, but it's not always the most efficient. It's not always the right way to do it. But I'm also coming at it more from the standpoint of somebody who's worked in manufacturing and done short runs of stuff. So, take it with a grain of salt.
Bantam Tools, professional reliability and precision to support world changers and skill builders.
And that's the end of the 49-second long video. My personal take, if Bantam Tools wants to send me a machine and I, throw some parts at it, I would be more than happy to take it on. I've legitimately kind of liked these sorts of machines because they do offer people the opportunity to produce things that they normally can't do. And as far as desktop-sized CNC machines go that don't require an engine hoist or calling in a moving company, it definitely seems capable. Obviously, I haven't used it, but from what I can see, it looks like a pretty decent machine. So, in all, I could understand why people might have felt a little bit like they were throwing shade with the I produce aluminum parts and all you print is Baby Yodas. But at the same time, I think they were also just trying to have a little bit of fun there. Personally, I didn't really see anything that I found highly offensive in the video. I think people were just being a little bit... because they kind of feel like anytime that somebody questions the superiority of 3D printing, that you're kind of calling them out as just printing a bunch of plastic waste and trinkets. And I don't think it's fair that people feel like that, but I also don't think it's fair that people feel like, oh, you're just being a hater, and it's like, no. I legitimately think, though, the future is going to be a hybrid of 3D printing and CNC machining and laser cutting all morphed into one at some point. But you know what? That's my 2 cents on it. Obviously, what I do is vastly different than what a lot of other people do with 3D printing, and that's perfectly fine. So I hope you guys found this, enjoyable. I'll have the video linked down in the description below. If you want to leave some comments, feel free to. Just, please don't go to this video and just start throwing shade on them. I don't think that's fair. I don't really see anything heinous about it. And even if there was, it's not polite to do that. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want to see some machining content in the future, I'll see what I can do, but it's kind of hard with what I do for a day job, so we'll see. Well, hope you guys enjoyed. See you here next time on Make It with Calvin.